Hidden deep within the ancient stones of Jerusalem lies a mystery that time cannot bury. There's a gate, sealed shut, untouched for nearly 5 centuries, yet with every passing day, its silence seems to grow louder. Known as the Eastern Gate, or the Golden Gate, it hasn't opened in over 480 years. But something is shifting. Something beneath the stone is stirring, as if prophecy itself is beginning to breathe again. What if I told you that this sealed gate isn't just a relic of history, but a divine timepiece, counting down to the return of the King? What if the quiet rumblings around it are not coincidence, but signals, signs, that we're on the verge of witnessing the greatest event in human history? Nations have tried to close it, empires have buried it, skeptics have scoffed, but Scripture has never fallen silent. And now, strange events are unfolding near the Eastern Gate. So strange that believers across the globe are asking the same chilling question: is Jesus about to return? Before we uncover the secrets and ancient prophecies wrapped in the stones of this sacred gate, make sure to subscribe to our channel, because what's coming might be the most important revelation of your lifetime. To grasp the weight of this gate's significance, we must first understand what it truly represents, not just for Jerusalem, but for the soul of the world. This gate, facing the Mount of Olives, was never just an entrance. It is a prophetic threshold. In the days of ancient Israel, it was through the Eastern Gate that the divine presence, God's glory, the Shekinah, entered the temple. The prophet Ezekiel wrote of a gate, this very gate, through which the glory of God once entered the holy city, only to later depart when the nation turned its heart away in disobedience. That same gate, centuries later, would witness another divine moment. Many believe that Jesus, the Son of God, fulfilled Ezekiel's vision when he entered Jerusalem riding on a donkey. It was Palm Sunday. Crowds lined the path, waving palm branches and shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David." But this wasn't a simple procession. It was a moment charged with prophecy. Then, in 1541, something unusual took place. Jerusalem was under the rule of the mighty Ottoman Empire, and at its helm stood Suleiman the Magnificent, a ruler not only known for his conquests, but also for his keen awareness of local religious prophecies. During his reign, without clear reason or explanation, the Eastern Gate, also called the Golden Gate, was sealed shut. Heavy stones and mortar were placed to block what once welcomed divine presence. Why seal this gate? No decree explained it. But many scholars believe Suleiman had one goal in mind: to stop prophecy from unfolding. Jewish tradition foretold that the Messiah would enter through this very gate, and in an act of calculated defiance, Suleiman not only sealed it, but ordered a Muslim cemetery built just outside its threshold. Why a cemetery? Because according to Jewish law, a Kohen, a priest, cannot pass through a graveyard without becoming ritually defiled. And since the Messiah is expected to descend from a priestly or royal bloodline, the cemetery wasn't just a wall of the dead, it was meant to be a spiritual blockade. But the question echoes through time: can human hands and stone barriers truly stop the move of God? Can any empire, any decree, rewrite the timetable set by the Creator himself? In recent years, quiet whispers have begun to rise around the Eastern Gate. Something unusual is happening. Those who gather in prayer near this sacred threshold, especially along the Jewish side of the Temple Mount and the ancient path leading from the Mount of Olives, have begun to notice strange, subtle changes. These are not headlines on the evening news, nor findings in official archaeological reports, at least not yet. But among watchful eyes and hearts tuned to the signs of the end times, the murmurs are growing louder. Worshippers, pilgrims, even curious tourists have observed something peculiar. Fine cracks beginning to appear between the massive stones of the eastern gate. In certain spots, the tightly fitted rocks, unchanged for centuries, seem to be ever so slightly shifting, as though the gate itself is stirring, repositioning, bracing for something to come. These aren't dramatic collapses or violent quakes. No, they are subtle, precise movements, barely noticeable to the casual observer, yet deeply unsettling to those who know the significance of this gate. It's as if the ancient stones are awakening, preparing for a moment written long ago in prophecy. Some say that while standing near the gate in prayer, they felt a faint trembling beneath their feet, not from nearby traffic or distant construction, but something deeper, like a heartbeat in the earth itself. Others have watched as fine dust drifted down from between the ancient stones, as though some invisible force behind the wall was gently pressing forward. A few have even spoken in hushed voices of strange sounds, muted thuds, low groans echoing from within the stone, as if the city's forgotten doors were slowly beginning to breathe after centuries of stillness. These aren't tales shouted in the streets or blasted across media. They're soft, reverent accounts passed from one believer to another. Whispers from those who wait and watch, especially from the faithful who come to pray with expectation, with hearts tuned to the signs, believing they are standing on holy ground near a divine mystery. But before we go any further, pause for a moment. Consider the weight of what it would mean if the Eastern Gate is truly beginning to stir. Yes, cracked stones and shifting dust could be explained away as the natural wear of time, weather, or human activity. But what if they're not? What if these tiny, quiet movements are the first tremors of a spiritual reality breaking into our physical world? Scripture reminds us that the unseen shapes the seen. Hebrews 11:3 says, "By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible." In other words, the real shift often begins in the realm we cannot see, with God's whisper before the thunder. The gate may not burst open with a crash, it may not fall overnight, but it could open the way God so often moves, quietly, deliberately, and with unstoppable purpose. If what we're witnessing is the start of something divine, then this may be the physical echo of a greater truth. The King is coming, and even the stones are beginning to cry out, and the timing, just as mysterious as the signs themselves. In an age of global unrest, moral collapse, war, and trembling nations, Jerusalem once again steps into the spotlight. And now, this ancient sealed gate, silent for centuries, is being spoken of again. Not by chance, but as prophecy watchers and Bible-believing Christians sound the alarm. His return could be near. It almost feels as if the city is preparing. Jerusalem is no stranger to prophecy. In fact, it's named more than 800 times in Scripture, a city unlike any other. Psalm 122:6 urges us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and the prophets declare that God has placed his name there forever. Jesus himself wept over this city before his crucifixion, saying in Luke 19:42, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes." But what if the veil is lifting once more? What if that sealed eastern gate is more than just stone and mortar? What if it's God's trumpet, calling for our attention in this final hour? Jesus warned us to stay awake, to watch the signs. In Mark 13:28-29, he said, "Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender, and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happening, you know that it is near, right at the door, right at the door. That phrase carries weight. Could he have meant more than just a metaphor? Could the door also point us toward the very gate, the eastern gate, that stands at the threshold of his promised return? It may still be shut today, but it will not stay shut forever. When it opens, whether in a whisper or a roar, it will signal more than movement in stone. It will declare the return of the one called faithful and true. Before we go any further, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the latest discoveries, prophetic updates, and biblical insights. These are not ordinary days. These are remarkable times. And now more than ever, we must keep our eyes open, our hearts prepared, and our spirits fully awake. The King is coming, and even the gate seems to know it.